You don't get a stream. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Bleep Bloop Episode 5. We're on 5-week stretch. We're doing things, small things, but we're proud. This week, I'm joined by not one, but two people. One of them you're aware of, Miss Kaitlyn.
Hi!
Welcome back. Thank you for joining me again. We're doing Game Awards predictions and the fun such end of the year festivities. And then also, for first time, someone who is also kind of funny best friend in that group and has been following / supporting our little get up here since the beginning. Escaped from the aquarium, Mr. Kyle the Fish. Welcome.
I love that. Escape from the aquarium.
Escape from the aquarium.
That's adorable. I do like that.
It is good.
That was
I'd
great.
also like to congratulate you on your last 2 weeks wins with the Raiders and no coaching staff.
Hey, hold on. We do have one, and it's way better than before. Let's not get sidetracked with football. I have a lot to say about it. But thank you. We'll take it. It's been fun to have a coach who's a Raider fan, for one thing, who just gets that vibe. No matter what happens the rest of the season, we're going to at least have fun and be Raiders again. So I'm down for it.
At least you're not going for the Vikings over here with, you got Aaron Dobbs. Josh Dobbs.
The pastor not, though. He's like, that's
He
crazy,
knows.
too.
You
Hey,
know,
December 10th, Game Awards weekend, Vikings Raiders. So that'll be fun.
ooh, might have to do a little co-stream on that. Live stream the game.
Ooh. Possibly.
Yeah, no, I will admit, I was a big time Josh Dobbs hater. I was not a believer. I was like, oh my god, this guy, he stinks. His
Little
stats
Bill.
are bad. Yeah, little Bill is not going to do anything for us. And yet here I stand corrected on a 5-game win streak. The Vikings might not lose again the rest of the season. They're going to the ship, baby. Skull.
It's crazy. Yeah. No, I mean, you gotta be like, oh, we'll see what happens. But hey, it's exciting when it goes well, right?
Oh, yeah.
I'm
It's
just
the
gonna
Vikings,
enjoy it
nothing
while
ever
it
goes
lasts
right.
right now. We beat the two worst teams in New York. You know, wow! Congrats, Raiders. It was fun. It was fun. We're gonna enjoy it. Next week.
It's
Hey,
we're gonna
a
talk
W
gaming.
is a W. It doesn't matter who it is.
It's the meme of the
Exactly.
guy celebrating last place.
With the champagne bottle
Yeah.
spraying everywhere.
Trust me, that meme was around a lot in the AFC West. That's the division trash talk groups I'm a part of on Facebook. Just because the last 2 weeks the Raiders popped out victory cigars, and it's like, all right, guys. But it means more than just you're not celebrating the win. You're celebrating as a team, and I get that. But man, that meme was flying around in those chats.
It's the franchise camaraderie.
Exactly, you need it. They got such a monkey off their back.
Mhm.
Anyways.
Something I never thought would be on this show, sports. It works out. Like I said, we're going to be doing a quick rundown of Game of the Awards nominations, the Jeff Keighley Awards, the Key 3 Awards, Mr. I'm in Fortnite myself.
Yeah, what's up with that?
It was weird. It reminds me of, and makes me want, new 1 versus 100 in Fortnite now, with a game show host, and like, it had that sort of setup when I saw the trailer today, but
1 versus 100 should come back.
it's so good.
Jacob is
Please.
obsessed with it. He loves it.
So many good memories.
It
Yeah,
just
we're going
would
to be...
great with where streaming is right now. It just feels like that's the game for right now as well.
Oh, it'd be perfect. Everyone's a Twitch streamer or wannabe Twitch streamer. They have hundreds of people to follow along.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you could play with your audience.
Yes.
I'm surprised-
It's kind of
What was that? Oh, no.
no.
I thought we lost you.
Oh no, it's just talking over Discord, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, we'll be going through some of the categories, skipping esports stuff that we may not have an opinion on, and then general what we think may show up, if Hollow Knight's ever going to appear again, or Grand Theft Auto 6 trailer, who knows? But starting off with our first category here, get into it since we're on sports talk now. Starting off with most anticipated game, which they categorize as recognizing an unannounced game that is demonstrably illustrated potential to push the gaming medium forward. And for this, they have Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, Hades 2, Like a Dragon Infinite Wealth, yeehaw, Star Wars Outlaws, and Tekken 8.
Well, Mr. Fish, would you like to start us off with your thoughts on what your
Yeah.
anticipated game is?
Yeah, I mean, I'll start it with Hades too. That's my pick out of this set of games. I love the first Hades. That's probably the first true roguelike that I've ever played and got deeply into. So the fact that they're making a second one, the way they announced it too, I think it was unexpected. Last year's awards show, so I'm really anticipating that to see where they go. But right behind it, it is Star Wars Outlaws. If that wasn't made by Ubisoft, it might be like toe to toe with Hades. I just, Ubisoft games are Ubisoft games. I love them for what they are when I'm ready for one, and I get that through Assassin's Creed. So I'm really intrigued by what Outlaws can be. So it's Hades for me out of this one, but Outlaws is also super anticipated.
I honestly was also had Hades on my list. I'm a big roguelike guy. I loved the original Hades. Cult of the Lamb is actually one of my favorite games like of all time. I have played hundreds of hours on Cult of the Lamb, so I'm really excited for this new character in Hades 2 with like the same like style and art design and everything. I'm excited to see how this story, specifically the story, kind of compares and contrasts to like the original Hades story too.
Yeah.
I'll be the outlier. Like a Dragon is mine, which 2 years ago I would call myself crazy because I've never touched a Yakuza game in my life. Until Like a Dragon came out in 2021, and I absolutely fell in love, and I'm running through the old games, and currently running through Gaiden Man Who Erased His Name that just came out on Game Pass last week.
Shout out Xbox Game Pass.
Yeah, started that, which is great. It's a nice end off to Kiryu's story and further tying in Ichiban to being the main role character. And in the last Xbox Showcase, they announced a nice little Animal Crossing mode that is just designing your own holiday island and inviting people to come hang out and fish with you. So,
and it looks absolutely hysterical.
I will be losing hundreds of hours to this game.
I've never played more than an hour of Yakuza game. I think it was the last Like a Dragon that came out on Game Pass. I was like, I'll try it. I did not understand what I was getting into.
It's so over the top.
I gotta try it again. Yeah, I gotta try it again. It was just not what I was looking for at that moment.
That's playing through the old ones is really hard for me, like the brawlers. But with Like a Dragon, with the RPG like system like that, loved it. Fantastic, great.
The turn-based combat style. And I'm not a turn-based combat. I hate turn-based combat.
Yeah, it's got to be the right game for me. It's pick and choose.
You can summon giant crawdads to fight for you. It's great. Best adaptation was next, recognizing outstanding creative work that faithfully and authentically adapts a video game to another entertainment medium. I feel like this is going to be a clear sweep for something. Castlevania Nocturne on Netflix, Gran Turismo, The Last of Us, Super Mario Brothers movie, and Twisted Metal, which, if it's not Last of Us, I will eat my shoe.
Yeah, I feel like Last of Us is the clear kind of front runner here. So many people watched the show and had so much buzz around the internet, but I don't know, the Super Mario Bros. Movie did so well in the box office, though. I feel like it could be a toss-up.
I agree. I think it's The Last of Us just based on what they did. It's such a honest recreation of the show, but I think it does well in expanding in the right ways within the show as opposed to what they did in the game. Super Mario, I mean, it's just an Illumination Super Mario Bros. Movie. It's exactly what I thought it was going to be. Not bad. It's a good Super Mario Bros. Movie for kids,
Yes, right.
I honestly think Twisted Metal, it was not bad. It was fun, and I think that's a huge surprise. If Last of Us wasn't here, I think Twisted Metal would have a chance, just because it was more fun than other things. And I think it actually, I don't know, I just like Twisted Metal. I am on that boat.
It's something we need to return to. I think we only got through the first episode of it and never returned to it.
Yeah, I don't think we watched this, or did we watch the second one?
Maybe.
I don't remember. Yeah, either way, we didn't. I have zero experience with the Castlevania Nocturne, but I know that Castlevania is such a cult in and of itself, and there is so many like other like adaptations between like Netflix shows and other like spin-off games and like I don't know, like little comic book stuff. So I don't know, maybe it really Castlevania, maybe that could be like the silent sweeper in there.
if we don't get Jack Black performing Peaches, I will riot.
Are he and Jeff Keighley
I
friends?
didn't even.
He can be. Who's not
Oh,
friends with
you.
Jack Black?
Where else did he perform as Bowser? He performs that song somewhere else.
It was at the. I think it was also a Keeley like orchestra thing they did,
Was that
where they
what
had
it
like the
was?
Final Fantasy
yeah,
16
it was
first
the LA
song.
show.
Yeah,
Yeah, it was the orchestra show down
so
in LA.
there is a chance.
There's a chance he shows up again. I don't know how you don't, right?
Best multiplayer, outstanding online multiplayer gameplay and design, including co-op and MMOs, irrespective of game genre or platform. Baldur's Gate 3, Diablo 4, Party Animals, Street Fighter 6, and Super Mario Bros. Wonder. Which I'm throwing mine out there for Street Fighter 6. I feel like I'll be the only one, but Street Fighter 6 did such a great job at bringing the Street Fighter community back together after the sort of mess Street Fighter 5 left everyone off in. Everyone was kind of super divided and iffy on the future of the franchise, but Street Fighter 6 has done a huge turnaround as far as characters and player base and community and huge Evo presence this year following along. I just feel like it's done great to bring that franchise sort of back around full circle.
Yeah, I'm not a fighting game person, so no opinion at all about Street Fighter. It wouldn't surprise me if it won here. I think Super Mario Brothers Wonder is. I've only heard bad things about the multiplayer. I haven't tried it, so I don't think that wins. Party Animals is fun. I think it's between Baldur's and Diablo, and I could see Baldur's Gate getting it just because of the. This is the first more mainstream game that's such a deep role playing system in a multiplayer setting as well. I've played it multiplayer. It does work really well. It's fun. You're able to make your own choices while other people can still do their own thing, and it does affect each other. It doesn't feel clunky all the time. It's pretty clean. So I see that there. Um, I would say it's probably between Street Fighter and Baldur's Gate, and I'm gonna lean Baldur's Gate.
See, I actually would like to say Party Animals, and maybe it's just a bias based on the people that I watch who are like professional content creators on YouTube and across Twitch and Kick and whatever other streaming platforms there are. Some of the funniest videos I have watched on YouTube this year have been Party Animals videos, and I've had more fun watching other people play Party Animals than any of the other games on this list. And I mean, like, these other games, like, they look really cool. Like, graphically, they're amazing. The story is wonderful. But, I mean, if, like, to me, if I'm thinking of, like, a true, like, multiplayer game, I think of something like a Jackbox game or think of something like Gang Beasts or Party Animals that me and 3 or 4 of my friends can go and just absolutely, like, lose our minds laughing in and, like, not take everything too seriously, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I think there is something to say for games that are inherently multiplayer like Party Animals, as opposed to the other options here, which are all single player as well as multiplayer games. Because yeah, we don't get a lot of those party like games, and they don't get that recognition. So I like it.
I would be okay with Diablo getting this, but with how harsh of a drop off that game had after launch, and
Nah,
just
I personally hated that they went online only. I love the ability to take Diablo 3 on like your Switch and just still be able to play the full thing when it came out for that platform. And now you wouldn't be able to do that with Diablo 4 because it's online always. So
I see.
that was a bummer to me.
go
But that doesn't
Blizzard.
affect multiplayer.
Do we want to touch sports racing at all?
I have no thoughts about sports rating. The only thing I would say
I mean-
would be Forza Motorsport, just because that's the only game that I'm even familiar with on this list.
I mean, yeah, I only know I do play the sports games. The crew is just Horizon. Good for them. Hot Wheels could have a chance, but I do think it's Forza right here. EA Sports FC24 did do something cool with the name change because losing the rights to FIFA.
Yep.
But outside of that, like it's still the same game. So I think Forza being innately different, that's where I'm looking that's going to win here.
They should have taken off F123 and giving me Lego 2K Drive on here, because that game is a gem, and I just like Lego. Moving on from sports, Sim Strategy, same thing. Only one I actually have any knowledge of at all on this list is Pikmin 4, just because you've played it, Kaitlyn, and beat it.
I love Pikmin. I am such a Pikmin freak. It's my favorite. I played I don't know how many hours when I finally rolled credits on Pikmin 4, and I was low-key really sad. When I finished Pikmin, I had one of those like thoughts about like, oh, now what?
That's funny. I almost tried out the demo to Pikmin, but I did not. I just didn't want to.
Ooh, you're missing out. It's
Yeah.
really good.
I wanted to play Advance Wars because I played it back in the day, but just haven't got to it. And I'm playing City Skylines because it's on Game Pass, on PC Game Pass. And I just turned off unlimited money and I'd make a city, and I have no idea how the systems work, but I'm having a great time with it.
I don't think they know how the systems work. I saw a video today talking about something how, like, your resident schooling system, they spend like a year in elementary school and less than a month in like universities and stuff, so like some of the schools are overpopulated and causing problems or something crazy.
Oh my gosh. I have heard
Man, I
not
have-
so many great things about City Skylines. I've heard the game is quite buggy and very janky and doesn't really run the best, so...
Oh yeah, no, I had to finagle with the settings to get it to run decently, and it's just a sim game. So once they patch it out, I think it does do a lot better than the first Skylines. I guess I do have opinions on this. The first one I was so lost, but when the second one, the tutorial is a lot better. I felt like I actually did learn how to manage a city a little better, though I still got annoyed when you couldn't build a high density like skyscraper zone until level 8, but at level 4 they started yelling at me to build the high density zone, but it said I couldn't do it until level 8.
Perfect.
But they yelled at me for every level, so that was fun.
I love that. It's like in the new Call of Duty how it tells you to use flash grenades to unlock the flash grenade.
Yeah.
Like, what? What do you want from me?
You love when multiple teams work on one thing.
Yeah. Best family category, aka best Nintendo game, usually. Appropriate for family play, irrespective of genre or platform. Disney Illusion Island, Party Animals again, Pikmin 4, Sonic Superstars, and Super Mario Bros. Wonder again.
You know, I don't really even know. I feel like Disney bias, Disney Illusion Island would win. But then, like you said, it's the Nintendo category. So it's a safe pick for either Pikmin or Mario Bros. Wonder. The only thing that makes me shy away from Mario Bros. Wonder, it's hard. Like, even as like an adult person, it is a legitimately hard platformer to get a hold of.
Yeah, no, I'm struggling with it. I've always dropped off of Mario games, but I want to beat this one. I want to beat at least one, and I want it to be this one just because I have it. But yeah, it's difficult at times for sure, and it's funny that it is like, I mean, the family genre is always this more cartoony looking games get into family, and if they're multiplayer. I think Disney or Pikmin are the front runners here. I think Disney, I haven't played it, but I've heard that it's not the most difficult. It kind of can teach some of those Metroidvania-like mechanics. So I think that one could be a sneaky one that slips in there.
Yeah, no, I'm also going to actually agree with you for slightly different reasons, going with Disney Illusion Island. Purely because, Fish, did you ever play the Battletoads remake that came out a few years ago?
No.
Oh, it is Delilah Studios, the same people, and I absolutely adore the Battletoads remake, as crazy and like Saturday morning cartoon as that was. And Disney Illusion Island just gives me sort of similar feels, similar vibes.
Oh, okay. Oh, yeah, I've watched people. Okay, I've watched some gameplay of this, the Battletoads. So that's cool. Same studio.
No, same studio. Super happy for them to actually like get more IP to work on. They deserve it. Good on them.
Yeah. I do like Disney. Grew up in Southern California. I've been a lot to Disneyland. I do like this new art style for Mickey Mouse and Friends. I think it's cool to mix it up, and it's fun. It's in a game, and it does carry over to the cartoon as well.
Yeah.
The new cartoon is unhinged.
I love it. I'm obsessed.
I'm obsessed with you. Best fighting game. God of Rock, which I honestly have never heard of before this poll or nominations came out.
No, never.
Mortal
heard of it.
Kombat 1, Nickelodeon All Star Brawl 2,
Which is a bad
Pocket
game.
Bravery, and Street Fighter 6.
I've also never heard of Pocket Bravery.
Yeah, no, out of these three, personally, again, I'll go Street Fighter 6 as much as I liked playing Mortal Kombat 1. The story was more of what you would expect and
But
didn't
you have-
really go out of bounds of what you would want from a Mortal Kombat game. It played it pretty safe, and some of the monetization has been questionable, to say the least, I will say. You were saying?
I was just gonna say, I think it's funny to me that you said that you would pick Street Fighter 6 over Mortal Kombat 1 when you have played infinitely more hours of Mortal Kombat than you have of Street Fighter.
Yeah, because of the story. But overall,
Yeah.
as like a game, Street Fighter 6 I feel is more technically
it's a
sound.
fighting game.
Yeah, it's more technically sound, I guess.
Yeah, I haven't played any of these games. I'm not a fighting game person. But based on like Mortal Kombat 1's change with the going back to 1, right? That big switch changing up their timeline or whatever
Restarting
the story
it,
is.
yeah.
And then the marketing behind it too. I think it is the front one runner. I do think Mortal Kombat has a bigger name than Street Fighter, though it feels like Street Fighter 6 is doing a lot to have those come back to equal ground. But that's just me being outside of the fighting community and playing those games.
And I wonder how much of that comes down to Mortal Kombat's season pass this time around.
Well, no, there's
Getting-
DLC characters too.
That's the season pass,
Oh,
yeah.
I didn't know that's what
Getting
it's called,
Omni-Man and Homelander and all these like big recent name characters to join in has gotten it more publicity, I think, compared to how it normally do. But
Well, and like you said too, from like a unbiased non-video game person, you could Family Feud style poll 100 people. I would put any money on that there's more people that know the name Mortal Kombat versus Street Fighter. That's just my opinion.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
really,
I do.
I'm on the other side of that, I guess. I'm the bad guy. Best RPG, Baldur's Gate 3, Final Fantasy 16, criminally robbed in all of these categories.
Literally.
Lies of P, Sea of Stars, and Starfield, which I believe this was Starfield's only nomination out of every
only
category this year.
This is the trickiest one for me. I it's between. I mean, I think Baldur's Gate is the front runner, but for me, like if I'm considering a game to be game of the year, I don't want to consider it as best in these specific titles,
I
just
agree.
because I think it's like repetitive, right? So
Mhm.
I do think the best RPG this year is Baldur's Gate 3 by far, right? Just it really did come out of nowhere, and what you can do with it. Starfield in its own right is special, but in such a different way. It's I haven't got lost in a game like I have in Starfield, and of course I had we had our first daughter 2 weeks before Starfield came out, and then I
Aw.
spent the next month playing Starfield with her while taking care of her when she fed. She'd fall asleep. I just would play Starfield for the next 4 hours with her. So it's always going to be special. It's my vote of game of the year. It's
Really?
best RPG to me because we recreated that character and we explored the stars together. But
OMG, I'm gonna cry.
She is openly sobbing.
sorry, but it's the truth.
I don't disagree with Baldur's Gate being the best. Like, especially like if role-playing game to me, I feel like Final Fantasy, yeah, it's a role-playing, you're playing the role of Clyde, but when I think of a role-playing game, I think of like a game like Starfield or like Baldur's Gate where you have multiple options and multiple choices and you're going to get different story elements every time you play the game through. Final Fantasy and Lies of P to me are too linear of a story. Like there's no cyclical back and forth that things could change from playthrough to playthrough.
Yeah, it's like with Baldur's Gate and Starfield, that's like the story you can change, and that's the role playing. But with Final Fantasy and Lies of P, those games are more you're changing up how you're playing, the fighting
Yeah.
style that's what's different. Even though I've heard Lies of P does have some differences when you go back and play the story, which is interesting. But again, that's like on the lighter side, and once you beat it, people are discovering that. So yeah, I don't see these two as Lies of P and Final Fantasy as RPG games. They're more action games to me.
I completely agree with that. I know nothing about Sea of Stars. I don't know what the story is like. I don't know the characters. I have zero information to give any input on what Sea of Stars is.
Sea of Stars is fantastic. I finally like jumped back into it this week because it came out at such a busy time. I think it was like right after Starfield came out, and I was still binging that.
Yeah.
Sadly, as much as I want to say Final Fantasy 16 because how much I adored that game this year, along with what you guys said, it's much more of an action game this time around, especially picking up the combat director from Devil May Cry. Like, combining that with Kingdom Hearts combat, it's just straight up an action combat game, trying to keep combos going, trying to keep your style quote-unquote meter going.
Quick time events every single boss fight.
It's a spectacle and a great game. Love it. Maybe my game of the year, personally.
Game of the year for sure.
Starfield, I would like to give it to as well.
I'm a Bethesda
but
fanboy,
I am so on the fence with that game still. I went in with screwing myself with such high expectations of what I wanted, and then spending my week off from work, I took to literally for 5 days, sat on the couch and did nothing but Starfield. I don't know if that ruined the way I viewed it, but I had to force myself to go back and finish that first playthrough, and then to go through further and see what the changes are that happen. And I don't know. Out of these, I'll have to put with Baldur's Gate, but I wish I didn't have to, sadly. Lies of P also weird on here. Should be an action game, not an RPG.
Yeah. I can't wait to go back to Sea of Stars, but I hope that Starfield gets love with this category, just because I do think it's like a very, very technically good game with the systems that are always active, with the planet tracking and that stuff. However, it's all bogged down by the Fallout, Skyrim, Bethesda style of look at character, stand here, pick thing. Once they update that, I feel like it's right there, you know? But technically, really cool.
I wish they didn't go as wide as they did with it. I wish it was a smaller, hey, here's 50 planets maybe, or 20 planets, and had a more zoned in story on it.
Yeah, they definitely need more fully designed systems, like star systems and stuff in the game, so you can explore and not just get the same layout for the mine and the pirate base. It happens too much, but I mean, when you're holding your baby, you're zoning out, you're having a great time.
Yeah, which that's where it hit me, was the repetitiveness, because I remember I landed on a planet, and I forget what they refer to them as, but like, when you're looking around, it has like question marks of like life signs or whatever. Yeah, I was like, oh, that's cool. And I went to the first one, and it was something like a glacial remnant or something. And I went to the next one, and it was the exact same copy-paste of that glacial remnant. And then went to the third one, and it was the exact same copy-paste of that exact same feature, just over and over.
That feature is on the planet, but it's like, that doesn't feel right, though.
Yeah, especially it's the exact same, like, structure physically. Like, I don't know. It just took me out a lot of different ways.
It does really feel, and I know now we're just stuck on Starfield, it does feel like Fallout 76 at the beginning, feeling empty, with just like the robots or the like written quest lines that they had at the beginning of that. And where they took it since, it's like Bethesda can fix it. Bethesda can expand upon this world and give us different systems, but yeah, where it's at right now, it's just not fully there.
Yeah, I'm definitely out of return for the DLC when that happens. We got the season pass, whatever, but
yeah, I was like, I bought it, so I got it.
Yeah. Moving on, Kyle, do you got this pulled up? You want to go through this next category? Give myself a break.
Yeah, I could read this one. Yeah, so we got Best Action Adventure category for the Best Action Adventure game combining combat with traversal and puzzle solving. We have Alan Wake 2, Marvel's Spider-Man 2, Resident Evil 4, Star Wars Jedi Survivor, and The Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom.
Which, I'll be honest with this category, out of all of these, I have only played one of them. as much as I've played this year, I have barely touched any title that is actually released in 2023.
Yeah.
As bad as that is. So my like default vote for this goes to Marvel's Spider-Man
What's the
2.
one game?
It's Spider-Man 2 for me.
Yeah, I haven't played Resident Evil 4 at all. I love Jedi Survivor. I rushed to beat that one, and I want to go back in New Game Plus it to try to 100% it, just because I did love the world. I love the story of Kestis, and I want to see whatever happens to him get finished in a third game, and then have him go on to be in live action stuff. I think the character is so strong, and I love the actor. I think he's really cool, but the director left, so we'll see what happens with that third game. I am so excited for Alan Wake 2, but I haven't played it yet. I love Control so much. I'm just I'm so interested to see how this is going to connect and what they're going to build. I love the creepy mind horror vibe that they got going, and it just looks so cool. So I think it's between Alan Wake and probably Spider-Man or Zelda in this category, but those Alan Wake I haven't played, so I can't say much, but it would be Survivor for me, I guess. But I think it'd be Tears or Alan Wake.
Yeah, I just think of, because it's like action adventure, like when you throw in the combining combat with traversal and puzzle solving, like if it was just action, I would probably say like Star Wars or RE4. If it was just traversal, I would say like setting wise Alan Wake or Spider-Man 2, but because it's combining all of that together, I feel like Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom is like hits every single one of those boxes, like better than probably any of the other games on this list. Just from like the puzzle aspect of it alone. But that's just my thoughts. Just I feel like Zelda is a puzzle game. Like that's you have to find all the little clues and figure out how to unlock the chests and whatever. And I don't know, maybe it's just because I haven't played these other games that I don't know if there's mechanics like that in them, but I feel like Zelda it just has way more of that mechanic than these other games or do.
Yeah, the way you paint that, like I can't not agree, right? The fact that it is combining the combat with traversal and puzzle solving, that is Zelda, especially Tears of the Kingdom with the merging the components together and making whatever you want for both traversal and puzzle solving. That yeah, if you're going based on the description, I can't argue more than against that.
Yeah. I'll put myself even more on blast with this category. I've never touched Resident Evil 4 in any iteration since that game originally came out.
I've never played a single Resident Evil game, so I have no opinions on them.
Yet to go back and start Alan Wake, either.
I would love to play Alan Wake. I had never heard of Alan Wake as a game until you and I had started dating. And now that I do know about it, like I really get the lore. I love spooky games. I just love spooky things in general. And that is absolutely a game that I want to just really sink my teeth into.
Good thing we got the remaster on PlayStation.
Yeah. I can read a category.
Yeah, you can read the category.
Best action game. For the best game in the action genre focused primarily on combat. What are our thoughts?
Well, I've only played Hi-Fi Rush on these one out of these games, and I loved Hi-Fi Rush.
And that's all that we've played
either. Yeah, I think out of like it was a surprise drop, a new IP from Tango Gameworks who did the Evil Within stuff first, and then they come out with a rhythm-based action game, and it was as good as it was, and as it is. This is my front runner. I want this to win here, just because it also is a new IP, and the way it just meshes I get rhythm isn't for everyone, but I do think they had some decent accessibility stuff to help assist with that to a degree. So
yeah,
that's my
Hi-Fi Rush is a gem.
Yeah,
like you said, going the drastic contrast from Evil Within and Ghostwire Tokyo to this, of all projects, is crazy. I am gonna throw out there that I think the overlooming FromSoft Ghost may steal this category with Armored Core, just because FromSoft people are absolutely rabid for anything that studio puts out at this point in time.
I'm just sad that
Are-
Dead Island 2 didn't live up to the hype that I think everyone wanted it to live up to.
It's okay.
Yeah, see, I know nothing about Dead Island. I had no interest in that. Do any of you play from soft games, or is that something
Oh
that
god, no.
y'all don't dip your toes in? No?
Yeah.
God,
Elden
no.
Ring was my first one, and I dabbled with it for about 2 days before I finally threw in the towel. I don't know if I'm
Yeah, I got
just old
halfway.
man, can't keep up, but it's outside of like my mind to wrap around how that game mechanically works.
Just gotta get good.
Just get good.
I don't play
That's how
games
it
that are
works.
hard on principle. I like nice, soft, cozy games that make me feel good about myself.
Yeah, that's fair. It's fun to get humbled every now and then.
That's why I play roguelikes, because then I can get humbled, but my characters are still cute and fun.
I get
We
humbled
just need a little.
jumping into
we just need
Halo
a
Infinite
cute
with you
little
for the
rogue.
first time.
Yeah. I do agree
Oh,
with you,
that's
though.
every other round though.
I do agree with you, though. I think that Armored Core is probably going to take this category just because it's a mech battler. Everyone loves mech battlers. Like, what do you mean?
Hi-Fi Rush the cat.
It does look cool though. I really want to get it eventually.
Yeah.
Like I do like the idea of a mech battle, and the 3D fighting space seems a little more interesting than the other stuff. I don't know.
VR, AR. Do any of us have any words or insights?
I've never played a single VR game in my entire life. It makes me physical nauseous to put on a VR headset.
Fair.
Fair.
Yeah, I haven't played. I know you two aren't VR fans. I love my MetaQuest 2, but it's not for the games. Like these I hear are all games, right? I feel like they're doing something. There's gameplay elements. Beat Saber is a game, right?
Yeah, it
My little
absolutely is.
Like my pro football game is a game. However, I'm like physically moving around more, and it's more of a workout to me. That's why I play it. So like my boxing fighting game, I'm sweating with that. I'm not playing it for the game. So that's kind of where VR is for me currently. I
Yeah.
hope I hope we get more and better experiences in VR because I think it's fun. I think it's a cool way to play games. I don't think it's the end all be all to everything.
No, it's still 10, 15 years come back and we'll have the conversation about VR being like the main way to play. But right now, it's a
No.
huge It's a huge investment.
I won't come back in 10 years to talk about VR. No, thank you.
No, you're just gonna plug into the back of your head
Yeah.
at that point.
My eyeballs don't work, so it doesn't work for me to play VR.
That's fair. Yeah, and that's the limitation of it, right? Is it isn't accessible to every single person. So there are experiences that people won't get, but also there are people that won't buy it. So it's not something that everyone can buy.
No, and I absolutely agree with you, and that is my big thing with VR is it is so expensive and it isn't accessible. Not like I've got like horrific blindness, but I have been having sight loss over the last few years, and I need my glasses to see, or I get debilitating migraines because my eye muscles don't contract like they're supposed to, and my eyes get very tired very quickly. And because of this, I get horrific motion sickness. And the minute I turn on a game and I start turning my head left to right, and the screen and the motion blur can't keep up, it makes me physically ill. Like, VR is probably not something I will ever put any kind of stock or money into just because it isn't as accessible as I feel like it would be.
I like that.
Mobile games, same
So yeah,
thing.
no opinions on the games.
Yeah, no opinion on mobile games. Hello Kitty Island Adventure.
Hello Kitty Island Adventure!
South
I
Park.
will say though, I bought Terra Nil on Steam. It's on Netflix right now. That is fun because instead of like building a city, you're building a forest, and I do like that.
Is that what it
But-
is?
I
I
would
got it on
love
Steam.
that.
Because I've
It's
never
an
heard of
opposite-
that
yeah.
till the nominations again.
Oh, it is definitely worth trying, especially if you have Netflix, because it's just there, right? But yeah, it's a little builder game, but instead of you're turning in a wasteland into a thriving forest. So like if you look at the little card, those deer there, the little white building that's like a water fire, you're spreading water to grow. It's really cool. It's all about supporting nature and conservation.
Well,
I think
there
they
you
also
go.
donate 10%, or they donate a percent of funds to the wildlife fund or something as well, the
Oh, that's
developers.
awesome.
I worked in outdoor education where I cared about this a lot more.
Oh, that's
So
fun
this
though.
game caught my interest right away just because that's how they sold it. Was a we're not destroying the earth, we're building it. This is our game. And I was like, cool.
Kaitlyn is actively downloading it right now on her phone, so
I love it. We're gonna get a review.
perfect.
First impression.
First impressions. Best debut indie game, which I feel could be one of the stronger categories all around. I know there's some controversy around a few of these, but nominated is Cocoon, Dredge, Pizza Tower, Venba, and Viewfinder.
Venba
I
was
haven't played any of these yet.
Oh, you gotta get around to Venba, my guy.
It's on the list. So with Game Pass, Venba and Cocoon are right there.
Yeah.
I want to play them. They're right there. They're both downloaded, just staring at me. I really liked Viewfinder's trailer. I haven't played it, but the idea of taking a picture and then that whatever you take a picture of would then morph and it will change the environment, like that mind and vision manipulation. That's just really cool to me. It was a bummer to hear it kind of let down towards the end.
Yeah. Venba's my clear runner for this, and it's just a fantastic thing that I know it's been praised for like being culturally significant to the Indian culture, but even me being I'm a middle-aged straight white male, like I absolutely fell in love with this game and teared up at times.
You definitely teared up at times. I teared up
Being
at times
someone
too.
who's at a point in their life where like children and futures are being brought into conversation and like the expectations of stereotypical expectations of being a father still and how that's touched on in Venba really made me question things and just where I'm at personally.
Ooh, you as a new father, this is gonna destroy you.
I was gonna say it sounds like I should stay the hell away from this for right now.
It's like I said, it's more about like the typical like father's supposed to support the family, but like what happens when that can't happen type thing. So it definitely made me look at it in a different way, and it's great. I 100%ed it, I think, like 3-4 hours.
Oh yeah, it's
super
a really
fast,
short play.
small thing, but it's absolutely great. And being a cook for 14 years, fun little mini games to do, cooking some dishes.
That's awesome. Yeah, once they came on, kind of funny at that when they did and showed off Enba and talked to the developers. I was instantly interested, and it's just something that I just haven't gone to. So I'm excited, though now I am fearful, and now I don't want to stream it. My plan was to stream all of Venba one day, but now
Cry
I'm
on
not.
stream, you
I'm
won't.
gonna go in my room. I'm gonna turn the lights off and play Venba and be alone. Apparently,
Just hug the baby a little tighter afterwards. Best independent game. This was the one that had the controversy.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yes, not the last one.
Cocoon, Dave the Diver, Dredge, Sea of Stars, and Viewfinder.
Dave the Diver isn't in the game.
We're...
That should not even qualify for this category, so that's automatically out.
I honestly don't even know enough to dive into that, but Sea of Stars, because that's the only one I played.
Yeah, no, I mean I agree about like it's not an indie game. But the problem is we haven't defined what that is anymore. I think indie is a genre, but independent is a business term.
Yeah.
And that's what we're between right now. Like indie became a term from independent developers, but now it means something else. So we'll see what it turns into. Good for Dave the Diver and their marketing for pitching and getting everyone to be so in love with it as an indie game, because I think that's why it's in this category. A lot of people thought it is an indie game.
Yeah.
I can't wait to play it though. It looks so fun.
Yeah, because even then diving into that conversation of what's an indie game, like I would even poke the horse and like expand that to like I don't know, shut up. Disqualify like even Cocoon from this. Like yeah, it's a new
Interactive. What do you mean?
Annapurna new studio. Plus, it's the Inside Limbo guys. Like,
I feel like we are really missing the term AA now.
Yeah, give me the
we lost
AA
that, and
shovelware.
I feel like games like Cocoon and Dave the Diver could almost fall under that AA, whatever that used to mean and whatever that used to be fully. But I feel like it's just not AAA game. It's not that, but it also isn't an independent studio. But I do agree, like scopes are different. But I don't know. It's interesting. Well, yeah, it's just going to see where people decide to just agree on what an indie is eventually.
Yeah.
But I really do think either Cocoon or Dave the Diver is going to win this category. Just based on.
Yeah.
Sea of
I can
Stars
see Sea
love.
of Stars. I can see Sea of Stars. I've only heard great things about it, and just like you responded, like, Sea of Stars. A lot of people react that way, and I wonder by the time we get there if Sea of Stars actually has a strong campaign behind the scenes going on.
I think it's just being more that old school, like original Final Fantasy, like old turn-based stuff. If that's still niche to a lot of people compared to something more accessible like Cocoon being a puzzle game, if that will be enough to kind of push it to the side. But
I love puzzle games though.
best community support.
Not Destiny.
Can't wait to hear from Kyle about this. Baldur's Gate 3, Cyberpunk 2077, Destiny 2, Final Fantasy 14, and No Man's Sky. Kyle.
One thing, Cyberpunk is not a okay. They have community support. They shouldn't be here in my opinion. That just because you fixed your game doesn't mean you have best community support. You fixed an issue. Congrats, but you shouldn't have been there. Destiny 2, I mean, what awful timing, right? For them to lay off all their staff, and then the reports show, or the reports come out that the staff were developers were like, hey, can we please fix these things that our community is saying? And the execs were saying, no, we're going to go with our vision because we think that's going to work. And then they get, in the best community support. It's funny. I would love if we all vote for Destiny and they win. I think that's so funny.
Come on stage and explain
but
yourself.
And just explain, like, and everyone just sit there and we'll clap, but like everyone knows you're not the best community support, and your community would be saying something if that were to happen. I don't think that's going to happen because they are not the best community support game. It's been like that for a very long time. As someone who's played Destiny since the beta and has played every single release and at least barely skipped, maybe I've skipped like 2 months at a time at most. Um, they haven't been listening as well as other studios have, and as they can be. It's really disappointing, and we'll see where the game ends up in the long term. But it's laughable. Recognizing the game for outstanding community support, transparency, and responsiveness. We're still waiting for map packs. What happened to PvP in Destiny? No one. It's a joke. They
need
are
to
very
add,
active on social media. I like that. They're very active on social.
Get
Not
Kyle the
anymore.
Fish at the Game Awards with a microphone. Jeff Keighley, what the fuck is up?
It's funny. It's just you guys.
Category for most layoffs this year goes to Destiny 2.
That,
Yeah, all these I'm super indifferent on. Like you said, Cyberpunk's a weird thing. Final Fantasy 14, I feel, has had its time to win that award. When they did the initial like nuking of the game and restarted from the ground up and kind of rebuilt off the problems everyone had with it. But that was so long ago now, I don't know if they're still riding that sort of high. No Man's Sky, again, I feel should have won this award the past 4 or 5 years.
My whole thing is, how can a game be winning awards in 2023 if it's, well, I guess Destiny, yeah, that. I'm like, how can a game be? It's an old game. It's like not recent. I don't get it.
It's still active community, still being updated,
Yeah,
bringing people back still. And that game had a massive turnaround from when it originally launched.
Yeah, at some point we got to stop seeing these games in here though. But both, I mean, I think it's between Baldur's Gate and No Man's Sky, but Final Fantasy could be there just because of the audience. They could be voting for it. I think that could win. But with No Man's Sky's updates consistently being there, what the game is now is really cool. And then Baldur's Gate, I mean, they've been in early access, and then they've been really active, on socials and in the community, talking with them for the patches and such. So I think overall that it's between those two there.
Yeah.
Remember when that game was Stadia exclusive years ago?
Love that. Rest in peace, Stadia.
That's so funny.
Best ongoing, similar type of thing. Apex Legends, Cyberpunk 2077, Strange, Final Fantasy 14, Fortnite, and Genshin. Only one I played of these still is Fortnite, so yay Fortnite.
Yeah. Agree, same. I've only ever played Fortnite on this list. It's tough for me because evolves the player experience over time. I guess I don't know enough about these games to feel like when I think of Apex and Fortnite, I think of them, or like even like an Overwatch type game, you're like the same kind of player experience every single time you're loading up and dropping in and whatever else they call it in games. Like I feel like your playthroughs don't vary and differ that much from season to season, but is the Final Fantasy game, is that not more of like
It's
a
like World of Warcraft.
yeah.
Yeah.
So to me that should win just for development of content and evolving player experience because there's constantly new things actually being added to the game, not just here's a new backpack, here's a new banana skin, here's a new hovercraft. Like I don't know.
Justice for Peely.
Justice for Peely.
Yeah, I don't play much of these games outside of Cyberpunk, but it shouldn't be in best ongoing.
Yeah, for one.
Again, and I think, and I just, it's also going to come up with Game of the Year when we get there, but I do think there needs to be a category of comeback Game of the Year, and that's for stuff like Cyberpunk, who turned it around, for remakes like Resident Evil 4. I just don't think, I that's a place for this, because I do think Cyberpunk should be recognized. However, I don't think it's for outstanding development of ongoing content. They just got it up to where it could have been at the beginning. And are they going to keep doing it? Because if they do it next year, sure, that's ongoing. But just, fixing it is not ongoing content.
Yeah.
But I do think it should get recognized for that because it is significantly better with the skill trees and such, not just the fact that it runs better.
Yeah, and that's the sort of thing. It makes me wonder with Cyberpunk. I know they mention it like kind of funny quite a bit, where you want a game to be nominated, so you vote for it to put in categories that like
kind of makes sense.
makes sense to give it a nod when you don't think it would otherwise. But games for impact, we'll kind of run through some of these here. Space for the Unbound, I've personally never heard of. Chance of Sonar, Goodbye Volcano High, Chaya, Terranil again, and Venba. I would go Venba, but after you speaking about Terranil, almost want to say that just for good faith.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, for me, it's Terranil, but it sounds. I mean, I haven't played the other one, so can't say much there.
Innovation and accessibility, I can't speak on any of these as I don't really mess around with those features, but Diablo 4, Forza Motorsport, Hi-Fi Rush, Spider-Man 2, Mortal Kombat 1, and Street Fighter 6. If I had to, just from people online, I would give it to Forza. Mm-hmm. Of the accessibility of, like, I think it was Steve Saylor, Blind Gamer, like, first game, he's given a 10 on accessibility points. Mm-hmm. So I would have to give it to that, I guess.
Yeah, I haven't heard. I just haven't done enough to know which one's better or not. I know Insomniac has done good work in the accessibility space. I know Turn 10 with Forza does. I've dove into those menus and they let you change so much from a simulation standpoint, but also accessibility. But that's the only one I've messed with. So
yeah. Best performance. Our good friend Ben Starr, who is my vote for Clive in Final Fantasy 16. I love that man. He has ascended internet meme culture, and he is everywhere now, and I love it. Cameron Monaghan in Jedi. Idris Elba for Cyberpunk. Melanie LeBird in Alan Wake 2. Neil Newbin and Baldur's Gate 3. And our boy Yuri in Marvel Spider-Man 2.
It's a stacked lineup.
It
is. It's really good. So good.
Yeah, I will say it's a lot of men. I think next year they should have a male female. I don't know. I just feel like we're just losing out on a lot of cool people. But I also haven't played enough games to know if someone warrants that spot. So I'll hold that. But yeah, I would say I'll go for it.
I'll throw a dart at the board now, and I'm spacing on her name, but the chick that portrays Senua will win this category next year, and I'll put that in a year in advance.
That's very good, and I'm so excited for that game. The behind the scenes they've been posting and the dev docs or whatever they're calling them, so cool, so good.
Audio design. Best in-game audio and sound design, Alan Wake 2, Dead Space, Hi-Fi Rush, Spider-Man 2, and Resident Evil 4. Again, Hi-Fi Rush. Give that game all its flowers this year. Fantastic.
I feel like some of this survival horror could get it with Alan Wake, Dead Space, or Resident Evil. Just I know sound does play a lot, but I haven't played either of them.
Yeah, that's why again, Hi-Fi Rush. I haven't
Yeah.
touched any of the other ones besides Spider-Man, which is questionable for me to have this in here. But
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
I would definitely pick Hi-Fi Rush as well. Just like the upbeat tempo, the music, and specifically having to do things with music. I don't know. I feel like that's a pretty easy win.
best score in music, which
Final Fantasy.
no, yeah, Alan Wake 2 again, Baldur's Gate 3, Final Fantasy 16, Hi-Fi Rush, and Legend of Zelda.
I mean, Zelda, it's great. That first, like, intro music with, like, the big loud trumpets and everything,
Mhm.
like, it's great. Like, the little noises that, like, the little Koraks make and all the little songs that play during the cutscenes, but I don't know, man. Final Fantasy makes me want to run through a brick wall.
Yeah, it's between Final Fantasy and Zelda for sure. I haven't finished either, and I think for me it would be whichever final ending's music is better. But because like the music, I love the music of both. They're so different, but they just build so well at the same time. I love it. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm equally torn between the two. Hi-Fi Rush's soundtrack, just every boss theme's great. The music in between battles is great and keeping up with the tempo.
Mhm.
But like you said, Final Fantasy 16 gives me like
Literal chills.
it gives me like a Dan Campbell want to fight somebody speech.
Yeah.
Like it's so good and just matched with the epic over the top like literally galaxy defining boss fights that are in
Yeah.
that game towards the end. It hits different
Except-
somehow.
Except when like the fight just goes on long and it just is repeating, and I'm like, all right,
Yeah, I get
this
that.
is the fourth fight with this song, and I'm kind of like, all right, I get the point. So
You
for me,
get-
it kind of dragged on a little bit at times, but
You get one
that's in
boss
spite
fight
of
sound.
much-
Best art direction, creative or technical achievement in artistic design and animation. Alan Wake 2, Hi-Fi Rush, Lies of P, Mario Wonder, and Zelda again. Out of these, again, I gotta go Hi-Fi Rush for like third one in a row. I just love the art style, sort of cel-shaded comic book,
Mhm.
super vibrant poppy colors that is otherwise lost outside of like Nintendo games nowadays, where everything's still kind of gray and dark and dreary, but Hi-Fi Rush is beautiful to look at. I love it.
I liked Legend of Zelda art direction a little bit better than Hi-Fi Rush, I think. Just like the almost like tapestry like painted quality that a lot of the settings and scenes have in Zelda. I don't know. That's just
I haven't played Alan Wake 2, but with Remedy games, I just have always loved how it looks and how the lighting goes with the gameplay in Control and then the stuff in Quantum Break and stuff like I like the design aspect of what they do, and what I've seen of Alan Wake, it looks phenomenal to me. It looks so cool. I love they shared their like inspiration deck or whatever they call it to see what they want to design it like, and they use the Pacific Northwest and like Twin Peaks,
Yeah.
and I just love that aesthetic already.
Mhm.
So, and then with the vibe of the story and everything, like it just seems so cool. I can't wait to play it. But I can see that or Zelda getting it for a lot, and honestly, Hi-Fi Rush for the reasons you both shared for both of those games. I think Alan Wake's gonna get it here though.
I feel that this is a really tough category. I really think so. All of these games are so unique in their art styles and being different from one another.
Mhm.
It's really gonna just depend on like, I guess, yeah, how many it could go any way realistically. It's gonna I feel like that's gonna be a category that only comes down to like a swing vote, or they're gonna have to like recount the ballots on that one.
Yeah, and somehow Liza P gets
Oh
it, which
my
I wouldn't be mad
god.
at. Honestly, the only one would be Mario. I'm like, all right, you did something different, but it's beautiful. But out of the other games, I'm like, best art direction.
But it's a
Any of
Mario
the other
game.
four,
It looks
like-
like every single other
I know.
Mario game.
But it's fun and quirky.
Yeah, but it's really pretty though too.
It is really
It's
pretty,
still
though.
pretty,
You like those orange yelling
especially on an
flowers?
OLED.
Oh, you got it to OLED. I'm poor. Best narrative, outstanding storytelling and narrative development in a game. Alan Wake 2, Baldur's Gate 3, Cyberpunk Phantom Liberty, Final Fantasy 16, Marvel Spider-Man 2. You're good. Go ahead.
Me?
Yeah, you were saying something.
I'm gonna say it.
Say it.
I did not like Spider-Man 2. I thought the story was dumb.
You
I
weren't
thought
here
it
for
was
half of it.
jumping around too much. They made... Oh, I probably shouldn't talk about
Don't
Spider-Man in
spoilers.
case it's a spoiler.
No spoilers.
Okay. I did not like Spider-Man 2. I liked it even less than I liked the first Spider-Man game. I think if we are talking about storytelling and narrative, it is between Alan Wake 2 and Final Fantasy. It's got to be one of those two.
Hater. No, yeah, Spider-Man's great. Story was okay. I liked it more than the first one.
It was about 5 hours too long of a story.
No, you weren't even here for half of it. My vote, though, is going Final Fantasy 16. I loved the setting for it. It's the first Final Fantasy in, like, 6 or 7 mainline ones that wasn't in sort of the cyberpunk steampunk setting and was more like European traditional medieval setting. So that did a lot for me alone. But just the overall story and side quests for the most part were pretty okay. But yeah, Final Fantasy 16 is definitely mine for this.
Yeah, for me, it's Baldur's Gate. I could see Baldur's Gate just sweeping every category it's in, unfortunately. But I think it's between Baldur's Gate and Alan Wake 2, just for what they do and how stylized they are. I got kind of bored with the story in Final Fantasy. I feel like that went on 20 hours too long, and I'm not done with it yet. But I am also doing everything, so that's also on me. I'm doing every side thing first, so I can't complain that it's taking too long. I'll give you that asterisk for it. But yeah, so it's Baldur's Gate for me, but I think it's between Alan Wake and Baldur's.
Best game direction.
You could do so many different things. Sorry.
Oh yeah, no. Best game direction, outstanding creative vision and innovation in game direction and design. The usual suspects at this point: Alan Wake 2, Baldur's Gate 3, Spider-Man, Mario, and Zelda. This one I'm actually giving to Alan Wake 2, although I haven't touched it from what I've seen. There's just so many, like, out of left field incorporations, like their live action stuff. Mm-hmm. And at some point I saw, like, a musical number in there. Like, it's just a weird
amalgamation.
Yeah, of stuff that they're attempting and doing.
Oh, Alan Wake 100% for this. Like, I mean, Baldur's Gate games, I feel like all of the Baldur's Gate games and the Dark Alliances and what have you, they're all kind of follow the same, more or less plot. Spider-Man, all the Spider-Man games, it's you're a superhero fighting bad guy. Mario games are Mario games. Zelda, you're finding the princess. You know, like Alan Wake, I feel like was such an original story and an original concept of a game.
Yeah, I mean, it's also just the direction and the design that goes into it. I'm agreeing with Alan Wake too. I haven't played it, but again, just knowing Remedy, and I love their game direction. It when you're wondering like what's happening, like what is going on, and then it's wrong, and then but it still makes. I don't know. I love Remedy games, and I can't wait to play this one.
We'll have to talk later, Jeff, some of your comment of that you really loved Control, because I'm actually one of the few who could not stand that game.
Yeah, Jacob was not a Control fan. I loved it. I loved watching you play it, but he hated it.
I adored, like, Quantum Break. Replayed that again this year. Loved it. But Control just didn't do it for me for whatever reason.
That's so interesting. What, like, I don't even know.
It was it was like drug out. The combat didn't really hit for me, and it felt like a chore to shoot things, and just like the overall controls of the character. And I don't know, it was a weird time for me, because I was like, oh, everyone's talked about this for the past year or so of how great this is, and I finally went into it, and then I was like, what am I playing?
That's fair. That's definitely like going into something can change how you feel.
Yeah.
No, I love it. I think the combat is so fun towards the end. Remedy games and those survival horror style games, especially when they go to Alan Wake 2. But those games, I think always the aiming is just a little weird and clunky, and it's part of it. But those always irk me, and it does do that in Control and in Remedy games. They have that little floaty style of aim, and it's kind of hard to pinpoint it.
Mm-hmm. Finally, the big one that
The big one.
everyone's talking about in a reasonable manner online. Game of the Year. Recognizing game that delivers the absolute best experience across all creative and technical fields. Alan Wake 2, Baldur's Gate 3, Mario Spider-Man 2, Resident Evil 4, Why Are You Here? Super Mario Brothers Wonder, and Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom.
All right, Fish, take her away.
I mean, it's not. This list is perfectly fine outside of Resident Evil 4. I haven't played it. I've never played Resident Evil games outside of a little bit of Village.
Hey, you're not the only one.
They're just not like my biggest thing, but it's already come out, and I hear people explain, and it's it's like they're building a lot up from the ground and such, but I feel like that's where a different category where we can highlight these games that maybe have fixed it or their remakes can get their own category. Just because I feel like Hi-Fi Rush, Starfield to me, just because it's new IPs as well, I think that deserve this spot a little more than something that's a known quantity and just made it better. You're seeing it through rose tinted glasses, but also the gameplay feels better. So of course you're gonna love it, right? But I haven't played it, so I don't want to hate on it too much there. But yeah, it doesn't make sense in this category to me. That's my big issue with this. Other than that, every single game other than that one makes so much sense to me. I'm not surprised that Starfield didn't make it. It was way too political, way too many opinions on it because it didn't go on PlayStation and it's now Xbox owned. It had to be a 10 out of 10, smash everything out of the water, I think, for people to love it.
It's if you don't mind, Starfield, I've said since it came out, has hit a problem that I had with Kingdom Hearts 3, actually, where the game was announced so far in advance and built up so highly by the community that literally no matter what it did, it was going to fail.
Mm-hmm.
You're either not meeting the expectations the community set, you're not meeting the expectations that reviewers are going in at. You've spent years being this sort of ominous presence that everyone knows about, but doesn't see for a long time. That no matter what happens, that game was not going to land and be what it needed to be.
Yeah, agree. Yeah, and then it gets bought by Xbox, and of course, then it's only on them, on PC and Xbox systems, and then it gets under even more scrutiny, which every game can't do everything, right? Like I can, I can't go in the first person view in Baldur's Gate and hack and slash, right? Should I hate it for that? No. Starfield made its choices. It wants to be able to track every single sandwich, as opposed to have a lot of full-fledged cutscenes. It's a choice, The game, to me, is still really fun.
I completely agree with you. I am of the variety that remakes should not be allowed to win. They should be their own separate category for remakes and re-edit and whatever. Like, if you are a game that has come out in the last 5 to 10 years and you got like a remaster or a new fully fledged edition, you got to be in your own category. I absolutely do not think RE4. I mean, is it a great game? Yeah. Do people love it? Absolutely. But like, does it make it 2023's game of the year? Well, no, because it's a remake of a game that came out in 2000 whatever.
Yeah. Like in hindsight, it's just going to look more silly on this list.
And it's not, even compared to the other remakes that Resident Evil's done recently, with like 2 and 3 being as massive as they were, I feel like I've heard the less out of 4 than any of them.
Oh, absolutely.
Like 2 was great, everyone loved. 3 was okay, people kind of fell off. And 4 I've heard even less on. But yeah, I would agree. I would switch out definitely Resident Evil 4 on this list. I would even go as far as switching out Mario and Spider-Man to a point.
Not Spider-Man. Too many people love Spider-Man. The PlayStation Sony fanboys are too fond of Spider-Man.
Yeah. Yeah, no, like I said, I think that everyone else makes sense on this list, with Mario and Zelda, of course, and Spider-Man. Yep, of course it's there, and they are good for what they do. My issue with like Spider-Man, I haven't played it. I love Spider-Man. I'm just waiting for it to be cheaper, honestly. it is what it is, right? It's more Spider-Man. If you
Yep.
wanted that, you got that. That's amazing.
Mhm.
Zelda expanded upon Breath of the Wild. I haven't beat it, but to me, it's like I got more Zelda. I know what I'm getting. It's going to be awesome when we get there. Alan Wake and Baldur's Gate are the only ones that did something drastically different and unique. And even Baldur's Gate didn't do that drastically different of a thing. It's just it got something so niche into the mainstream in the way that it did. I think it's between those two for Game of the Year for me, because those two games and the style and genre are now more mainstream because of these two games, in my opinion. Yeah, I don't know which one out of it would get it though. This is a hard category.
This is I honestly, my personal opinion is between Baldur's Gate 3 or Tears of the Kingdom. Those are my two picks, but I'm leaning more towards Baldur's Gate just for the huge internet presence it's had. Even if you have never played a video game in your life, you saw 800 clips a day on Twitter or tweets or Facebook posts about Baldur's Gate 3, whereas I feel like you didn't get that from any of the other games on this list.
Yeah, Baldur's Gate for me, pretty clear winner this year. Sadly,
Is it a game I'm ever gonna play? Absolutely not. But I mean, everyone else loved it.
Yeah.
So
no, it have its time.
It's
It's
real
great. Good for the studio.
yeah, absolutely good for them. Like, give them their
An
flowers for real.
independent studio.
Yeah, what the heck?
It's good. I'm excited for the Xbox port. I'll get around to it eventually.
If it's on Game Pass, I'll play it, but I won't pay money for it.
Which I don't know.
We
that
should
was...
hear this week.
Yeah, I
They
can see
said-
that being even not this week. Well, yeah, it's. I originally
the
thought like the
developers-
first second week of December it would come out.
Oh yeah, no, they just announced. They said they're gonna give us the release date this week of November 14th. They said, yeah, expect some news this week. So
Nice.
we'll see. But I expect it by the end of the year for holidays. And if they got it on Game Pass, oh my god,
Well, there was
that would
something.
be crazy.
There was something in summertime where people were getting like push notifications through the Game Pass app that like Baldur's Gate 1 and 2 were on Game Pass. So I don't know if that was just like a weird fluke or if that's like something they're still kind of planning when that all happens at
Yeah.
once, but
Yeah, it would make sense to put it on right before it goes. And we'll see.
do them all at once. But yeah, that was majority of the nominations outside of esports stuff because we're all clueless. It was
Yeah, I would
fun.
just choose whatever looks cool.
Yeah,
Pretty much.
Baker's a win athlete. I don't know anyone else. Yeah, thank you guys for joining me. This was a long process, but
It was fun. I like to hear you guys' opinions on things. I'm super opinionated, so it's nice to hear somebody else's voice for once.
That was a fun convo.
yeah, and Kyle, thank you for joining. Since especially this has been kind of a Twitter acquaintances to we played Halo the one time to hey, you're on the show now. Thanks for coming.
Now we've become
Oh, thanks,
besties
Kurt.
for the resties, and you will never get rid of us. Congrats.
Uh-oh. That's how it works, though, right?
It is. I'm
Pretty
just saying
much.
that the Halo Infinite, Halo 3 maps dropped today, my guy, and I'm off this weekend. Just a heads up.
Good to know.
That's good. Real quick, I wanted to go a little more into predictions. We're already at an hour and we work in the morning. Kyle, do you think GTA 6 trailer drops at the Game Awards?
No, I don't want it to, but yes, I do think Jeff got it.
Yeah, I'm same. I don't want it to because that's gonna just the
I
rest of
want
the.
it to show up on a random afternoon. They just post it, and then you see more at the Game Awards. Which honestly, that actually sounds a little more right. They're gonna post it like they'll Monday Night Football sounds right that week.
Ooh, that'd
They've
be
done
good.
that before. Just like, hey, see the first look at Grand Theft Auto, the next Grand Theft Auto during Monday Night Football. Trailer comes out 30 seconds, and then it says, see the rest at the Game Awards. And then you instantly get so many more people tuning into the Game Awards. It still overshadows, I think, because everyone's just waiting. And where did you put that trailer?
Get Jeff Keighley on the phone right now.
No. Yeah, I hope if it does, it's before the event happens. Because that sad timeline where it's not at the award show and people just spend all night waiting for that to happen, and it doesn't happen, like, that's going to be even worse somehow. But
I
feel like by the week it happens, they would say it's not here, or they would be wink wink. We don't know.
yeah,
I think they would tell everyone we don't have the trailer because again, you wouldn't want that backlash.
I take
maybe
you
you do.
a
Good.
GTA 6 trailer and I raise you what kind of dipshit tries to get on stage at the Game Awards again this
Oh my
year.
God. I see. I can
Too many
see.
people, and they're gonna be.
Especially if
It's
it
gonna
happened.
happen. That kid's going to show up.
I can see Jeff inviting that kid personally just to make an appearance as a meme this year. Honestly,
Well, no. I don't know, after how angry he got at the whatever showcase they did at the beginning of the year when that guy tried to
that
come
was
on
Game
stage.
Awards last year.
No, the second time it happened.
Oh.
Gamescom.
Yeah, he was
It happened in
pissed,
Gamescom.
dude. He was
environmental people came up.
legitimately angry.
That's a lot.
Yeah, that one was a lot worse.
Yes.
Yeah, we'll see. I hope not. I mean, I hope also it doesn't get like where it, you have to like stop someone from rushing and then they tackle them because they have security everywhere because they're not gonna let this happen again. We'll see. Someone's gonna ruin it where no one else can buy tickets anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Sold out this
I
year.
loved going last year. I went last year.
Did you?
I couldn't go this year. Money and new baby. Yeah, I went last year. It was a great time.
That's
Loved
so
it.
fun.
I want to go. I wanted to go again, but baby, and we gotta be smart. And they were really expensive this year. But yeah, I just hope if people keep rushing the stage, they're gonna stop inviting people. They're gonna stop letting people come, and that's such a bummer because it's so cool. Sorry, I know you guys have to go. It's so cool that like Game Awards is small enough where like anyone can just buy a ticket and go. It's not like only if you get invited. This is the Oscars. It's so cool.
Yeah. Which again, on that too, real fast. Congratulations on your the media event they're doing, Day of the Devs, that you were able to go to this year, registered for.
Exciting.
Yeah, they have open tickets for Day of the Devs. They decided to do a public event down in Los Angeles the day after the Game Awards on December 8th. There's just free tickets, so I signed up. So I'll go to that and play some games from them. There were some great games that they would show off. I think Cult of the Lamb was shown there. So
Hooray!
one time. So I'm excited to see what I can play and cover and such.
Yeah, that's fun. That's really fun. To live not in the middle of nowhere like we do.
Hey, but you don't have to pay.
As I say,
The amount it takes
Bumfuck
to not live
Nowhere
in the middle of
definitely
nowhere.
has its perks.
You gotta drive an hour and a half to
they-
the nearest Target, but
Yeah, I've lived in a place like that before. It happens, but yep. Thanks again for having me on. This was fun. We'll have to keep talking, and I
Yeah,
have to get on
absolutely.
the fantasy critic stuff.
Oh yes, we should be doing that here in the next few weeks.
End of December,
Yeah.
hopefully.
Well, that's the next few weeks because November's almost over.
It's wild. It's a wild
Yeah.
time.
There's only 6 weeks left of the year.
My mind is jumbled. If you don't know, I also quit my job last week and starting a new job next week, so everything's kind of up in the air right now.
Well, that's fun and that's exciting.
Yeah, everything's just a mess and everything's jumbled about. But yes, this was episode 5, Bleep Bloop. Still a fun name. I know you hate it, but I absolutely love it.
It's okay.
Catch us at badlandsbacklogs.squarespace.com and Twitter, I'm not calling it X, .com/badlandsbacklog. Kyle, if you would like to shamelessly plug. Oh. Kyle?
Hello. My internet just started to act weird. You cut out. That's so funny. We got this far.
We got this right. Yeah, no. No, I was just saying if you want to shamelessly plug yourself fast.
Oh, I think you said plug. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm streaming over on Twitch at /KyleTheFish30. Come hang out, playing through Baldur's Gate right now, wanting to get farther into that, and there's variety streaming, having fun with that stuff. Going to play Halo 3, those maps eventually.
Yes. This
Gotta get back
weekend.
onto that.
Okay. Caitlin, anything?
But yeah,
Goodbye.
that's me.
Nope, I'm AndyCandy03 on Twitter and Xbox if you want to come play Fortnite with me.
I need Fortnite friends. Okay. Thank you guys for joining us. This was episode 5, Bleep Bloop. Thanks for stopping by.
Goodbye.